Hello, the nature of wealth, creating premium markets through natural law. And if I told you the thriving market in this moment, in this 2026, the year of 2026, even last year, the thriving market, if I told you, say, the premium market, the organic way of market, will you believe, say, sanity? Adenti, and the person casafa the nature of wealth. Dodoɔ na de sika sɛm no anaasɛ sika pɛ no ayɛ no adeɛ bi a just of taking it like that, but you name the rare process here it take when we talk about wealth, because we have wealth and we have rich. There's much difference. Nti ohwɛ yɛ kurom a nneɛma ɛkɔ so yɛ kurom nyinaa no dodo na turning to show us nkɔfoɔ nte sika se. That's why ɔmo yɛ saa nneɛma no. Nti sɛ no first time ɛna ɔde abɛhyia ɛwɔ SOS a na wakiriki video so a nyame nhyira wo sɛ wakiriki video yi so. Yɛmmoa kɔ aba SOS yɛmmɔden sɛ yɛbɛbɔ yɛn mmɔden sɛ ɔman Ghana through agriculture, any agribusiness, any business, factory or processing or industrial or adding value, no, ebeba yemaimu. And it's a business like minded, and ye share one say. It is and also any that will come as well. Ye more kwaba. Subscribe my YouTube channel, no, your Facebook page, your WhatsApp community, brabe join nebe sua niema, because ye nyina yesua free ye ho. Ye nyina yesua free ye ho. Nimdie ohoi eni obako futrim. Nimdie ohoi oni obako futrim. Ye mo akwaba ma ye hu ba bia wuti ye free na like video no so mai na share video no so ma foforo said ba ya foforo so betimi ajoin enya enasema ye beken eni nsema ye din kan for so many videos ya for my time. And then for the nature of wealth. Na wealth no, you can wealth for there are so many types of wealth. You know, dodo na ye de near ato sika so. The only one of the tools you can wealth for one of the tools no. Enti oka Ghana na ka so be a wealthy person na the dodo na de o ma adwene koso ne de sika ekura no. Do kura be 10,000 cities ni 100,000 more in Obano. No, from wealthy person, but it's not like that. Wealthy person, you know, etimiba in terms of health, umpomden. So umpomden we a wealthy person, because through umpomden, you can turn it to be the or to say, and you can say pay any ahonya, you know. If we say, let me tell you one thing. And then through internet, any technology, you know, so pomodin first, no na ye wompanifo na baby na take can be na ye brebi na opagya na de na o mo hwehwɛ car brakes any you know the car okwa car say a ye won niam bi a o mo tumi hwehwɛ brakes no ne ade no na o mo pagya no pa ne nwumre nti o mo pagya no body no asɔre sei ene no wo ye sa body fit in ade no wutumi turning into cash ATM cash machine. Nti se can say wealth is in health is wealth just a little bit you know what they say opinion medima on say onti ase a ene no wealth no you can turn it as an ATM machine. Ubetimi atichi ewo internet so say ena wo ya ofa so di yen de wo di nya de wo nya wo body we say no say na wo ya wo de fa so di nya wo weight wontimi wonye keseke embro so ena wonye tia so ma ne mbro so wo mi nya ene ma ene enuanom bi ayi ready so mbetue sika na o ma tie as a content and just a bonus la me de ma ho before say ye be share your program na say mo ma mi ho ba bia be patcho mutie ye free because me say me ho how far SOS ye kodro ba bia ye reach ye dro ene ba bia betimi akodro said the be ya mere bia so no ye information ene ne ma ye betimi enya free obia ho na ye betimi nyina so yetimi di ehotwa said the bia na esika no. The nature of wealth creating premium market roof natural law. And then say the esika de bia no me breaking into 3 or 4 maximum na me jai ama ebusuafo enso de omonso de aba. Adie baako me pese me no oka. How many times and I will take a decision? Who take a decision now? You just take it just like that. Won't think in terms of long-term effect, but you think just you will take a decision just like that. Me purchase a beer to that mami who see our comment section as a normal way you say will be a perfect and will be perfect. Way you near maybe a test we sometimes take this decision, just a normal, you're taking it just like that. You're taking the effect, behind the decision you're taking. And that is why, in Ghana, sa estro any who abeto nipa mu ewo yeman mu wo a wonnim sa de we no afei de ekoso yeman mu so say ehu person no kan na ke bedi bronya anase bedi koside anase ohene bi wo a asante hene wo anase bisa na enimo mesre ni dem kasa na yempiepie bro basa basa na yenta enante basa basa ebise ne yese ehu se yetwitwa nkofo mene but enei no sa hu no ebi ni wo bio because your new era your modern world and this modern world in the another ehun fufuro na be shemu the risk of food poison and they say yeah they abehye minu umiru ntem ewo ikrom all this because of the bad practices and the short term bad thinking and the chasing of money. And one particular thing is when you chase money, when you chase liquidity now, in the wrong way now, that is not a guarantee. A warranty say where the sikano, it will stay behind you forever. So, please, tell ye ma me no papa no ni nuanom na omo produce nuane na omo sell nuane no ansa na omo aton no omo ton kube na omo de kube no enu chemicals mu ansa na omo aton ama wo no. Tell them, say, that practice will not make them wealthy. You can be rich for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year. But after that, your richness, every free, or there will be no purpose from that. Why am I saying this? Your friend be the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. The first point in Pasha Kasafan. Say, ushye bibine, anase ushya abofra, umuadia. The one particular thing that Ota can say, charity begins at home. Meaning, say, the cause of, akolano, a stage na ushia no. And yet, that moment, but there is a cause. Into effect, but there is a cause, input. Okay. The same as when you come to producing food doesn't mean say you have to produce a toxic food. Getting rich doesn't mean say you have to sell a toxic food. how the principles of creating wealth city no. So what you see all these things, so what we are will be jai. Because wealth creation is not like that. And then we pursue thought of the day. All the social handles on so Facebook, YouTube, you can say WhatsApp and LinkedIn. Now make sure BB say so many times and ya kofa me more ya failing. But you must say why until you fail here. And so you call the percentage wise here. About 80% you confirm me because of the numbers in social media are creating. And this thing is a dopamine. It is said the wako dance for light ebumni yesi na no oni so eye wo yinti no u feel excitement so be there ubesa in the same as you farming in Ghana right now. Uko YouTube, ubie Facebook, ubie TikTok. Everybody is declaring this is what this is what is making me money. This is what is making me money. This is what I'm gaining. And then every time the answer no currencies, you say always dollars. So you see this in social, you see millions. And to you thought to say that's the way of farming. And farming is like that. You know what problem? So this type of information a dopamine excitement man. Enti ema wuntimi nya the rare decision ema wuntimi nya the rare purpose because you have a purpose. So be produce nkoko a no chese also produce nkoko. We have so many types say ka poultry farm you so many types a sector a timi combine be can say poultry industry. Your more feeding, your more value added, your more medication, your more even a Ukrainian can say recycle system. No, you so many things. Your more marketing, and it say obey your poultry farm. When you see car, what will you do? No, it's another opportunity. Because Danny Pana, why your poultry farm also when you see car, no, we problem also solve. And when I mean, no, say transient that particular problem. No, na you solve money panel. And yes, I will say, say by force, say, so for poultry farm. And as you can see, farming in this time, acquire dopamine, it will be a person. But in order for you to get the money now, Nipana will for 10 years in 1 year, you have to cut corners. And cutting corners, the short term, is excitement. The short term, is a idea air because wakati corners in 1 year is cannibal. But at the long term, the effect, a losing of identity, losing of personality, losing of credibility. And credibility is key. When you come to market sales and marketing, credibility is key. Credibility is a capital. So today, when you're in there, no chance way. Ye senior bako SND me video be my to SOS WhatsApp community musi nya yenhwe bi. Ask say obi abehwe. Also ko ma me nam also nam Kumasi market. KJT ose KJT Dubai side na oshia kubewura bi. And also so beto kube ni bi because of ni mpomuden no ade obeti me di no abonten ye kube insuo and obeti manom eno de sustain na so akofie. Also otu akube ya no ma no kube no wotwitwa ho dada wasense no kama and otu ano ma no also no within 5 minutes na fe wontimi nyina na so na stress ye ma na konya otena akonya so ne yefu ne ye ne ye na ni so bire no woni mo hu hwe bio na kuma e bon pere. What is the problem? The fortunate say obi onim that particular situation, obi what knowledge about these things, any man no remedial abi anywhere they or no me and the timi de kulu ne kuma na kuma down and san wo timi to na juma na continue so for the whole day and the day after. No one tiapo. Why? Because kube na or ton kube no, in order for him to keep the kube fresh, fresh, not in the content inside, but fresh as the scene, kube no, I created some liquid form, water, and what the powder beer, poisonous, egum, and what the amen nipa so on day, what the shame. Into odi shame sana, yes, sana kube for this me, into uko to kube, mumpachimuti we ni. Uwi na so bi ebi ato wa mo de ukutoku be a ento de ye ya sense ho na ye ho white na isisi ho no mo anya dai green one no mo emmo ho ma because ya sense ho white no yes se o mo de nu esuo no mu na etimi endure for 1 week kra kuba ya sense no e de nu mu for esi ho a etimi endure for 1. That means it's serious things. So this week me short video be na me busa me say for you to get this knowledge in say ubetimi aye liquid be a ubetimi dey conserve preservation of coconut aye twitwa ho no I didn't tell you the same knowledge na untimi go far deeper na untimi nye how can you add value to the coconut itself. Dear oye iPhone any dear what on phone accessories any dear oye iPhone no Apple Store no the oye apps no why any osika say mami hu me but mami wo comment section say na me wi mama answer the oye iPhone no any the oye apps no you turn no app stores no any the oye phone cases no why na ehwe sika daily mami hu comment section answer. So before you make a decision in your daily life, in your daytime, and everything, ask yourself, today I'm enjoying for this decision, but what is the long-term effect? If the long-term effect is higher than the present desire and answer the present enjoyment, then think again. Stop. Nebusa won't say, is it worth say may enjoying this moment, but the nearby future may soon. Toxic shots, toxic cutting short, toxic bad practices can only lead you to toxic disasters or the future bankruptcy. You got the principles of rarity because Yakasafa creating the premium. Last week, Yakasafa introduced this market of premium. The principle of rarity, yes, I say me can be said the only one market here, travel can say the trading market, omunye sika steady market, omo the produce organic. Ye call snacks in it and na omo the any another different topic. But for you to gain a steady market, you have to position yourselves into something that the people need. But need, interesting need, just a need like that. It is sense you. So what insurance is come the nipa na what no say the insurance bought said there or better. Because the first need Instead of producing rabbit, instead of producing maize, instead of producing grains, instead of producing cassava, don't just produce cassava. Produce a solution. I'm saying it again. Instead of producing cassava, no, produce a solution. I didn't make a solution. Because nowadays, na me no Ghana no, and no, the fear of eating, no, is too much higher than say you think cancer come there. It is if you can choose to say, maybe your friend Kwame Nsu, maybe a machine was say me produce aduane a value, aduane a esayale, aduane a ema onipa mpom ye den no. Everybody who is wealth-minded, who is you can say health-minded, obeba ho abeto aduane. And once ya nipa beti say you produce organic and wo aduane nye hu say nipa bedie no, the price be abebu se bia no nipa say. And the one particular thing of this type of market, is say the price and the profit margin is almost high. So don't tell me say who say we the who selling yama in the cheapest way, who gain it. It's not true. When you talk about the long term now, you will see say they will choose organic. Now choose say obey premium marketing. It said the you free ATM machine. It said the ye telephone by first na ka ukura phone wo de mami ka se mo nchiro na hwe se meboa wo de ka me comment section na say okura na se nye nokore first na ka ukoto phone a uto phone na no ano no memories and e wo phone no no na ye plus the USB a ye charge phone no na dem earphone na dem bibi bia na wo mbi ene woto phone a woto the only phone na yache wane wa plug no aye the plug and I say the USB kwa wire no. All the rest is an accessories that you need to buy. Who are the frontier? Because we are not living in a market here. Market is just a market normal, but we are living in a market of dependency. Once ya menya so munu die minya ma wonko. That's the law of the market now. The law of the market now, no, who de transidi ne hwe so woni mo a wohunu so a mame mo comment section ase. Extra. Something na wabi share so me subscribe my but like video no see mama Mr. Wada need you like video no na share video no na subscribe my ni turn na mama because omu kunye. It is say you say one hwe yen so a obi do se kan be kunya nanka yen tra mo obi mfa sika nkum nanka na ewi akasa ho na ye and yes one kasa wotiri mu ayi wo yibone. That's why I say me no me dey share mo say every Friday bia no ye be hwese ye be ka na kasa na kodru women market where you omo ton edwom niam no omo ton enam no omo ton eburo no omo ton dokono no omo ton kube no a omo di ensu bone ana ehye kube no na wonum na ko yemu na wo yale no ene kidney problems enye fia before na call make omo call what they say omo call international camp and omo to eba yo is the bad decision minni wumi you create for say you pay you chase money. So bear in mind the process of creating wealth so winning the process the principles of creating wealth now is so easy to make money than sell back at honest. I'm telling you. Unye who that principle so now. After current state, enye wo bio o current state na wo no. So you know the principles of creating money now and how, because it's just in transition. I can say to you, I'm in a transition mood because I've come to realize say and you're cutting costs no anything be ye. But building systems through the principles of creating financial wealth no, or financial freedom. The principles of rarity no. Mami fa another example in chiro. Feel good any diamond. Adding a gold, diamond, and oil, crude oil, it costs too much. Now, say, can't try produce that or more power. But your mammy will comment section, I say. A DNT and no more among the two oil, oh, mukrum, you call Arabian countries now, and also South American areas now. Adding na or more two oil or more crum or more power. Oh, international market. Now, than or more into oil or more crum. Meaning said there's something. Me no me no yenim. Because oil reality say some quantity be and a was say. It's not asa. The same as gold, the same as diamond, and the same as food, the same as land. Arable lands na you work Ghana in no. It's something that you say in your sapenasa. Won't mean koshopo. Enka je say Ghana asasana sentino. Wo pia nsu na konanim na waje asase ni bi afiri opo ho. No, never. Won't mean ko Burkina Faso, won't mean ko Togo, won't mean ko Benin, won't mean ko Cote d'Ivoire. Enka say omo nya dey omo rented land ma because Ghana ni Arab land bio. So idea yes scarcity no. Idea the price and so say dey was through. Just as a woman how to make it reality. It's a rare na ubos over price. DA nipa sebie so ye nipa ena ye mum ati ba kumetrasi ana ye me wo se me bombo de ana me twere one day eba ye thought of the day no ye timi trasi na ya say asase ni ye kotuku gold efra asase nim ye wi a na wo de mpato mutie ni ye o mutie ni ye sebe se arable land no ye tu koko na free so ye tu timber na free so ye say asase no anya kutu gold no ye kutu gold so ye say ye water bodies no anya wi no ya twi gold ni nyina aba okay and we beka say hanso so yo what we na wi no wi gold na wi no what you do when you say dey we be say refine gold no and so we hear another niema e also use na what pollute or or environment we are then you fear the armed robbers, you fear thief. And in the sense of what turning that crude gold and just a gold now, why refining a then you have to build a security room. I'll bet my day, I keep that gold inside. And what says Sika? What say assassin? What says you? E kutu gold no uwie ya wase sika dia ye gold no asiesie gold no kama uwie ya usro kronfo ni ntino wasa dia kwakugu kavo wo dia kwagu edan bi ma ye opeso protect no ni we mu nyina echi no adenti na won keep no under the land na say keeping it under the land keeping it under the arable land it will make more value than that because who need gold no gold no asasena say untouchable. And will be ni quantity ntino and also no ma price in here more power at the same time who use arable land produce food or good food. This is what Ghana is missing. So me transina me journey and niamana me go so na me yes research na me yes oh who can told our leaders and say this is what is going on. And I feel so sorry, say, Ubia Fanadre Maso. So it has no sense say ube to gold no say bibia we are asa the why find gold no wakwa pay a security high security no asa take gold no say why they what gold no cover no only the biggest has no sense to me. But I'm not here to solve that problem because it's more than us. Nti yentwa yedwuma yede ato yakoma so. The integrity of standard. Last this week, I tell the chance say, face your standard, design it, give a border, give a value, give a shape of your standard, and your standard will pay you in advance. Your standard will keep you where you deserve. Say no first standard show some patch or subscribe to your YouTube channel and say and like your video. Share video no na yem create awareness. Omo ton nuane bone no omo e produce nuane bone no ene omo a omo take decision say ombe sense ase na omo di ape enema na edenwa no ye mo munya so say sa ne ma no nya no eye short term enjoyment. At the long race, in the long term thinking, we are going to cry more than enjoyment and I enjoying it. So the integrity standard, you say, me, ye create aduane a yebetimi aka yebo yesase your body and sase your body say aduane we efiri mafom ne baaye aduane we metimi ama me bedi abrami nsuro aduane we mi gina wani medi abrami nsuro because I know say me produce with the right in here say me yefi me koto bofre popo na it's almost €5 and I say more than that popo baako mo twem picture me bia bo chinya pa me post na popo no yo mu difference yo they just produce the yashada anu ayereke and you what the premium one nti me share that to premium one the premium one any bona me na make no I didn't na me share that to premium because I know the consequences here a day by day in the future rather than say me day me choose I say me day me save €1 and so I'm inviting you who are also will be a farmer this year and also who move farming and day stand up, say to yourself, I'm going to produce what God has ordained me to do. So what means so now produce diania and corners, meaning say you follow the law of the nature. The law of the nature say you follow and respect the law of harvest. The law of harvest say mean could do abrakodu no nyanyin baby and makutran de beguam the caba de other sheno. That particular thing is cutting the corners of the harvesting. Mean konkutwa ade foforo ni ma behye na brentam anka enuru baby and makokote ni ma ba behye na abre na mayde na meeton. So what me gina na so ka say aduane a me produce say de yenu anamo street young ne ya maame ya maame o UK be year fini de maame on fache me na me year fini de say so beti me wo tie na be maame ho na mabodi am sero sack market so kan ho bi ya maame ya nature omu nyina de omu ye bia no omu di crash omu de omu produce no de respect very respect the nature no. I'm not against processed food, but I'm against the super processed food. That's not the standard food. So feed yourself with the food that didn't boy or the man if you want to live. Super processed food in here. Young farmer the nipa now produce here. Create a standard for your product. And if you create that standard for your product now, you will not afraid to say obey your cheap product or market here obesro. Only will be any competition. Maame ya aye drinks ni we nesi wona. Drink beer or market here sisi we no entimine ni shada. And the last one now I am senior ba. Me the link is also air to wa opese oba. Na obeka wo experience. And I say kubeno de na ekoso enwo de na ekoso ifie no. I say who the bedidi kwa na oyem hwehwe no. Kane mi hu yenka who di a wodi woni hwe yes face the wall abete. Minim say what Martin did that face the wall. Because who and I say yes watch your come now wasunte na ohwe. Ene say ne ne wo nyina na okuhye na bonte na obedi na usuro. Ebi say unnim die ye de anoa. How so be use cement now they ship beans. Now they beans no what they go concrete ana. Ninsuo ko kana reaction be na apese take in place. Doing all these things, who we are, she cannot there, all the quacoto tight. All the koyoko finiama. No niaje, no atras, no abo in semama. Alcoba for a day. And you asking yourself, say, where is my blessing? Your blessing is not coming because of the practices that you are doing. God has done enough for us. The part of God part in Wayewi, a radia in it now from Mudia. But who know you so? A family, ye family, na ye the ye who so. Because ye family, na I dream as ye na I can't say, ye dear. And you money, you know, a radia from the way was so boy saying, said so. Or who may and come me win you, no nipa bay or crat as a four. So, why any dear? So no boy and says so. That means we have the power to create through our imagination, through our communication, through our visibility, through our potentials, the seed in us. That's the kingdom code. A book war ebeba. Ideally, but ebeba. And then I can say me can new a yibia yedeba. But due to some reason being, I'm a man post to, but ebo boba. Yewo energy as and be mamo. Ebe confirm how and SOS I mean every day biano. And the first pillar SOS. You can't buy SOS in the whole year system far SOS na. The first pillar no out. Ya work bread ni gusto ya work. I wish senka metima to mensa fro bibia na obi a obetima bo bia aboa ewo ni nim die nanka yetimi akipu ade na out immediately. But me the two just na afena eluso ni surprise. Enunti ena eja nkakra me ni mpenfo asomo ayeye ade no eguso ayede kakra yeye face be de betimi aba out. Men ko se ba Valentine Day no ntimi ama o say ba this week Friday and ko think about and niam bi asa ye but eguso because so we need destination na every junction T junction bi ano anya distraction just of confirmation say you are keeping one of your choice. Focus and you will reach there. Pursue and you will conquer. Subscribe to your YouTube channel, no? Facebook, no? Follow ye. WhatsApp community or brother join. Tell the market women and say we are not against them, but we are against the bad practices. We are not judging them because sika semutira untimi mfa wona nsi obi mpaboa mu ema nye ye because obi a nenim se de ne mpaboa mu ehye de sitie enti enye no ne na meka na ebom how a decision sitie no don't prevail say where the current situation no ene beboa wo senior compatriot me akwaba
Uncle Charles, Majoso,
me just want na boko so
Boko, what do you mean? Ye, from a network, and I said you may have your crack.
yeah so obetima mama me volume kakra bi a na nke because we na say ye share product ne kakra na ya na ngofo ente ni voice ni ye ti so obetima pagya ani kakra mama ya no me da say
All right. Yeah, my we be ajo, and you may so about a addition. Na yɛn nyinaa so kakra kakra dwumadie naa na yɛsua adeɛ no yɛkɔ yɛn anim no na yɛhwɛ sɛ yɛde deɛ yɛsua no ɛbɛyɛ adwuma na mfasoɔ aba so ama obiara na nnwummerɛ yi yɛ topic a yɛsua nature of wealth, that is building principle of building through natural processes. Very necessary sɛ yɛ discuss saa topic wei sei because deɛ ɛkɔ so ɛnnɛ yi ɛwɔ wiase asetena yi mu because nipa pɛ sɛ yɛnya yɛn ho ntɛm no nti no we are going every mile irrespective of how the other party will be affected. And now I don't know who results here yehuni say ebi de cement preserve beans e beans also the carbide force banana mana ripe any a lot of other means. Nano video be a chance upon. I think I even posted it on the page. Say you did rubber air to and when amana nani afra near their chip plantain chips ama will be nipa top plantain chips now we. And all these things ni na ba basi say we are not thinking right. And it's as a result of we live the life of dependency. Yɛ deɛ ho ato aborɔfo so sɛ your sky, you see the sky is the limit. Your sky no ne aburokyire any broni. So everything that we are doing no a broni anka, a broni anka, a aburokyire a broni saa na yɛdwene. We were not having this kind of challenges when we were eating our natural foods until when the introduction of the GMOs came. GMO produced foods. And every time we share your classroom, your friend propagation. So you can cut a tree from here. Now the way you then what propagate it. Now about new genetics of seed products and access that fruit no. Na yenim sɛ yɛsua adeɛ ama no de akɔ yɛn na yenim sɛ yɛdua aduaba a ɛbɛba abɛkum yɛn. Ɛno nti na nnɛ kidney problems ayɛ massive. Ɛnnɛ heart issues. Say ɛkame ayɛ sɛ nipa bɛɛ 7 ewu a doctors bi tɔ ka kyerɛ sɛ mu 4 they died out of cardiac arrest. These things were not common. But ɛnam yɛ nneɛma bi yɛ suban bi yɛpɛ ntɛm anya yɛn ho bi nti yɛde beans na yɛde cement pop cement na yɛde hyɛ beans sɛ bɛyɛ beans no gu hɔ no mu a ɛmmoa no ɛmbam because of that video na mehu yɛ no nti na sɛ mehu sɛ nkurɔfoɔ bi ɛde beans gu wheelbarrow mu na wɔde ne nam kegyetia ne ada market no bi. So there was a time mehyia baako wɔ kegyetia Dubai na entrance hɔ na me sɛ metɔ beans no bi na maa no gyina hɔ. Normally wode wo nsa ɛfa beans mu a ɛbɛnya some powdery substance bi ɛwɔ wo nsa ho white. Made me suffer beans name there was nothing like that.
Mm.
So beans go in some uhwe mo abo say at least emu be 5 BDS say be you can say 10 pots na go in some emu be 3 and 5 BDS be sent tokuro di dem.
Yeah.
Ube hu saa emoa na ya na omo wa aburo mu na omo chi den ketenkete no omo ne namu.
Yeah.
By way there was none of the beans that tokuro dem. Some one ba akokura ni ho a bi se ka wawu kura mpo edam.
Mm.
Me ya mbisa akwa ne se na beans dem se beans dem timi kan chem se wa hye beans esi won ma abo bia mem. Osisisi kwan a efa so a preserve nti abo ntimi mem. Enam se yo mate. Me akwa no ma nya nto de onko na akire. You see, what the adruashana to the sense a living organism now kwatima test catch me say this food is safe. The living organism is not able to live in that environment. And the catch them in and said, no, and yes, safe for me, say medi. And you know, Sango for me who might who beats in one pipe white. Fe.
Na boni shire.
I'm the good barroom in the market name. And I who will come as and then me call Boise. Me who's be giving them or Boise Junction or Tinyo Kumasin Kwa. Sabins Ninano is questionable. Highly questionable. And a wine neka. Can I Japan a kind who watches the watchman? Now a lot of importer urban Yanian penny for now they are supposed to protect us through the systems now you're creating. A majority of the imports. Enuane a imported by the do na senye MP na minister na politician no enye ono one the company na imported director eye ne ho nipa bi na imported there by. So they always want to subdue what we have. And na ye produce ha no so no ye mentality na akoye to say ye importation exportation. We haven't finished feeding ourselves, but we are thinking of feeding the white man or those living outside the country. Enti dabia no ye be ye adwuma no be wie ne ya boka. Enti in order to prevent sa eka na ye bebo no e also ye find dubious means bia na ye de safeguard ye sika. Onim se body no se ebodua no so na enyini a opeso o export ni enti no emiti standard e de be export. Enti ba ko twa body na enyini ye no no di nru na be keka no se be preserve na che na akwa export. Owie ye no de wantimi a export no oton no Ghana ha ya na ama ye die eti yen kan hunu se enuane na ye di ye produce se obi nkotoni no e bia na wo fie ho na oba na ani bi oba no be ko school wo fa ase no betu kwan o yere na se unua no obekọ baabi ekom be de wakoto aduane bi a odi wa abonten e bia na waduane na wo share no odi aduro share no na wo ton ye no na obi atobi a wo no ano a oba ne kwakoto bi adie eno na obi atobi a ono a wo fa ase na unua ba na unua be ma ne koto bi adi se anka director e be kan ho nipa bi na say me younger brother odi machi mienu o se wajai gobedi ena me bi san silent ni wajai di ba bi o ye adwuma no the next 2 towns after ba bi ya see uma bi ton gobe ho there was a particular day mom to gobe ni bi die nyina were admitted in the hospital.
Serious.
Eti ekoba assess situation here the police for arrest a woman no also no dey onim okoto beans no market. Could you believe say you leading to the market no chere woman no to beans woman so to beans one ho.
Oh, na say the banker to banker. On can't you say no.
So this
Oh,
some
they
at the
nyam
papa
nyam.
na woton a at the papa na woton a ade tin no buy no ngintum so oton wo ho
Correct.
because one nim say woton poison nti ongintum say nka buy no so the customers na ebra mama beto beans na ebi wo ho de anka beton ama wo mo buy na mboni a wadi enti no e de boni no hususu aso ba de wudwane Ti we say nyame anya do no obi fam no ohwere ne nkwa anya nyankopon na afre no nya ne fia bayifo na akuno onipa bonesem na akuno yan kan okura ne nkyere ye ho say ba bia aduro no little drops of water makes a mighty ocean ye ne ya na wo say ye kakra ye betumi aye na ye njai say de ho tu broni so no me sam ajadu asem re bia da metiri mo say de me produce no say me ntimi ni bi na me ho nipa bi ntimi ni bi dia na me produce. Almost every time I just do pass this comment and asema emu odu pass ye dwene ho kwa akire a nyansa ewo mu no sebi metuma ka se mu odu chen de ehia no aso dem bebre because ye ne eti aso dem ho no ye ne na edi sa aboni we ma me na kwasi ada akwa akotua tight okodi communion okoye no me ahodo bi di aboa no sa ma me kro na de ayi enuro ahye fish a oton wodwam yi sa papa ya ye bo na baso aso dem wona mzika yi ono a na de chemicals ahodo egu nuane so eton maye enti me de me si fam obi ababi de me kan say ye njai se de ho ato abrofo so no cause ho no ne problem ho no any problem we should start thinking about ye ne ankasa ho first. Let's start feeding ourselves. Ye feed ye ho right na fe bi ka ye de akwa abonten eno bema saa mpepere ho we sie ne nyina no eso ate just medasi
Senior, yes, we that's it. Nyame nhyira. Ebusuafo, stoffe na waba ya mo akwa aba mpacho ma ye hu ba bia wuti ye free. Comment wase ni hu ba bia wuti ye free na ye nchia o nyamo akwa aba. Mpese mi hu how SOS yetime draw. Because yetimi nya obi bia ewo original capitals na ewo Ghana. Ni sub capital na say bia province na say towns and cities no bia TSOS ya. Some messages we no I think say and I think say message we no betime wura baby we say wura because one particular thing I was saying me making sure say ye hu baby eja no ano aso no wo na na ye ka se ye tu nsu egusu a ye betu nsu asan nsu no na eja no nume ye hu source no the source no enu timi be say me to me safre ye senior Kwamet na me busa say senior Kwamet and to you no that particular source so na san yema wo nyina free ba no ade ne bone ne ni free ne na se na hyase no are they aware of what they are doing? Are they aware of their effects? Are they aware of the long-term effect, or just they are aware of the chasing the rich, the richness, and I say money, and I say kudi, and I say cash. Senior correct. Help me, na me tiase, me da say.
Yo, abusuafo ne mpanyimfo a mo so a mutie. But then chat is here Abramo. And I think say another topic he emuedu free a couple of weeks here by no. Before say it's been a concern na say near be a air cost wa a high you who near be ready near maybe. But our question I'll be say Mrs. Siano. Me make us say a form of programming ababeto young crop for a tree. I didn't make us a programming. Ayana obi di abeto ye tiri mu say o de saa de we gu we so a ebeye we say ebeboa and o de we should be fair obi a o tie bia how many of us and a bia o produce ade a tembia obisa no say de ba de na metimi de be preserve ade no o say that has been a programming something obi biara yen what platform is we should be fair one way or the other ya bisa ye ho anasa ya dwene ho say ade ko na me ye na anasa me person be ye na kwan ben so no me fa metimi be preserve no and when this comes in mind then it means he said, "Eye bibi na sesi ahyase e programming yadwene ho. Eye bibi na ahyase e to ye trimu. Enti obia e find ways and means at the end of force say obetimi be prolonging a life. Enti ya yedi nkomo nyina na say ye kasa nyina no edu ba bia betimi aka say sometimes we might think say ye bibi, but in one way or the other no yes ye contributors. Enti akwa be so na ye befa yen so no yen bambe ye niema west and farmer other people. That is where as I say a chance yes ye betias yes adie na me de mani pan Mr. Edu asem no mensu metimi adiana. And from last week teachings no am I who said ye will be no more knowledge ni ho education ni ho. Enti ono kra no nim se adie na odi gu so no e bi asunsunsanso ni. Enti akwan ben so na sese yen so ye betimi be fa ye betimi be reach out to nkrofo no. Ya wo ye nananom ne ye maame no bebro mo wo baabi a sabie bia wanko school akenkan papa bi akra won hye dan nim fertilizer na kra ye ka kire ne se o use 1 spoon o timi use 3 spoons because adwene dan ni tiri mu nyina ne se oh say yes me use 1 spoon na ebeye bebre dia na se me man 3 spoons a metriple na se me ye ni se ni nyina ye nim dia eni honom but me hu ne se the certain bia and baby I am me be free say this has been a problem koso enti wa bia wo tie ene wa wo akire a won so pese wo ye bibi no ekwan ben so na bia won so betimi befa ana se de ba de na abaye a ebetimi beboa me yes me hwe niema mu kakra na se me check niema kakra no adie ba ko a me fo say entias yes what it's not about the money no but what is about ownership. What is about the ownership. Inti enone ade say yete ase. Right now the wadwe bay o say me ye no manya sika. But yase say sika na ubenya nene. But say si ankrofo ani ete na ankrofo te niema bi ase no. You can own da nipa ni biom. Sa nipa na emma wo ho biom. Unya repeat sales. Enti sa wo ton ade na wo intention na say o ton no enepe na watwe wo ho a and solve a problem. See e ka weta a system bi a wo dey atoto ho no ne hu say oh e krase ne mo ade onfa we say mom ni nua ne de ono an na formulate ni nua ne e na say ni say and no kire say wo the systems bi ato ho no and empo yes yen use fertilizer no ne nema e bi a ye use who use no kwan papa so actually nem kofa ham emfa mre nipa na. But most of the time the kind of we say a what and crofo chase no e dia obeji ni sesi a enunti na ebi mutimi eto aftammo nema de man crofo. One of the things as sesi ebu ho no ma mehwa e ha mekese ne say we are Ghana nipa ne bo ma wo pe bibi o Ghana sa senom ne nema one hwe wo we are Ghana nipa no you may not have it but foreigner bi beba ye the asase no be ma sa foreigner no adentia the kind of programming I dey ato ye trim it is say yetimi atwe ye ho efree niema bi ho anase ye create that awareness no. Every individual bia or habia sa videos here ya hwehwe ye de some ye de cement ne niema air frefra niema inuane mu ne niema na sesa bi o wantimi amfre wo nua bi o maame bi o wanti bi na wa educate ne wo ho a amanante nneɛma bi ase a ɛba ebi bɛka ebi a wode wadwen bɛyɛ wo sɛ oh wode all the necessary information but ɛba ebi bɛka and these are some of the nneɛma a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛhwɛ woka about the natural laws of creating premium marketing. Trust is one of the laws. Says ade a wo ye hu so the cement afra. Enti trust ben wa build it on the minds of our customers. A man for will lose hope in you. Enti say a man for patronize o. Some man for patronize wa and you be not what to a draw and answer why ye be ama uwajuman intime enkoso. Safety ade baako say see a drone minim se me aduane mi beto a me yare a me ma meto mfi ho and yentias yes to say one of the laws is consistency when it comes to wealth creation na say unya repeated sales all the time then it means that there is no consistency. Niema bi entwa yie niema bi enko yie ti saa niema we nyina ye niema edu ba bi a esese ye de yani eto ho anase ye hwe because saa niema no betimi ebeboa yen identity dia wo ton no the law of identity o pesa nkrofo identify was say oh asuma sidie bia ne beans ra ye sese nkrofo so omundi beans and found beans kwa oboka kofa aba say yentias yes that is the end of sa gobe joint no because unya twetchensen say wo kwa ko di gobe abaka baby sa enfa na alcohol oh kola no so de share
Yeah.
swat yase enti say ya pese creative water sanema we nyina is very very important but me dia me hu nyina ni say ne sare Ghana no ekoro. So we entrepreneur na say we business bia and said your cameras ni videos wo hoyi me hu niam ekoso ade si metrimu ane say ene say we bibia anka ubenya anka all will process ni nyina fa camera to so
Yeah. A good idea.
Camera to so na che say omo e ba beto ade na timi hu say hey kwadwo niam ya woton yi de ono wo hyase afiri ha oye ni say especially mete we say de no plantain chips yes o mfa ofo smooth rubber bi en na mfra na oyo no nsada no
Oh.
so enti baby aye won sesi a no enya say won so one take measures bi a wo be mistake one take measures bi improve who say won other people ne de no enye pa a wo be mistake. It is about time say right now no niema bi wo hono ma record keeping wo ba hihye niema bi wo be man crofo bi be hu niema bi be taking pictures doing videos or processes how wo niema ni go through and sana finish product na ba no ma crofo enya we ma crofo enhu and those things ne niema before say e betimi be save entrepreneurs a afi na omoba yemu bia fe na bia ye pese ye bibia ye hye bibia ase no this is how I me hu ni say ye betimi ebe build bibi enya saa de a ye be kan ye nyina de aka other people ne de no ho a ya nhwe ye a ye ntimi enya de a ye hwehwe it I think say me de besi hanom na hopefully no impanifo kasa na ese say me nso me be kan bibi biomu a me san ba wram na me nge time ni na ntimi da ase bebre say wa ma memre.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Nyame nhyira.
Sure.
Ebusiafo the odin kasa ye no Akko Farms. Akko Farms rabbitry masters no ba akono. The BFA rabbitry mu bia no of hwe na kira kwan a ono bedi nkomo pepefe. Say open advice, say open so supply obi na so wa show the ase. Anansa odi of occasion mu ba ko say odi no be nkwan. Ni nyina no o hwe Akko Farms rabbitry sere na oyede obeboa. Your also a senior commit. In your name say business for strategies for business. Also omu no nyina ye di kabo di no omu WhatsApp and YouTube community inya so very much that point. Business be episode share say bia so no obusa senior comment ase a na o mrenko adia advice will be ma no emu hwam ye. Enti Mr. Mother mo mo say ye be me ni abre. Senior it has senior minshira it has same last one ye de beko senior yankasa suffer Mr. Ferris. Mr. Ferris.
Mr. Charles.
But you are
Upon the sign.
me adum boko but you so
Yamiadumo, be a hoye.
then you say. India say me pejamani me tin sam na sam pejamani ahwe so na me yesu. Every say de na me nim ni say ye hye rubber e we krom. Enye nipa ndo kokoto ade 10 times kra na obeje poetin back we are no idea apro so tin wa hye. But say ye dey rubber e hye oil mu in order say wenya ebetima crocant say ebe gregre. Now at the same time preservation e dey na cause senior yant yente hwe asintrana e dey dia se me
Yo, Mr. Charles, where the Mechia, Busianfo, na Mr. Kwamet, Akasa, Akon Rabbit Farms, Akasapa, and some work can be brave, or must sum up most of the thing crown and me persebeka, you know. But a crabia made the beca hono. Say agriculture and Kasano, we have ne branches bebre. Na ne branches bebre ni na no. Food safety and quality is very important. Say last week, yebobo biswa na oshe senior reasene kona. We have to establish the fact say eduano ho bayedin. Okay. Last number can say it has been projected say by 2050 world population will be around 10 billion, right? Now you've been here about 70% more of what we are producing now to be able to feed that generation. What that means, food demand about high. So, and what that also means, we farmers know. I also here find a coin be able to make produce in a way sustainable. Now the next generation is betumi atra so afi ho. Into the use of chemicals it is not going to end. The use of chemicals is not going to end. It will still continue. What we also have to understand is a plant now they are living things. Now living things they can be attacked by diseases and pests. Yen nipa ye yare hospital or may ndru say yanum ndru na ebuaye me ho toye. Na answer na doctor mpe prescribe eduna ma no o kire ekwan a o so fa so no no. Say fani say ewia fani say anopa fani say yimbre obe church ni na. The same thing applies to plant. Plant no ono to ni disease bebre wo ho. The pest bebre wo ho a the one hwe kwan bi so an control na production na wo ye no enyeyi. Into that is why chemicals no ho. Apart from that We also have organic chemicals and our organic product and also function the same way. We have synthetic chemicals even human beings in the ground near fire near organic chemicals so and so be far and so be better. Which one do we prefer and which one do we want to use? Intino say production line so I mean comfort production line.
Yeah.
Farmers now umudia in Biabano. We have what we call good agricultural practices. We say good agricultural practices no. It is designed for farmers and to me minimize the effect of the physical, chemical, and then biological contamination of their product. Into the measures do a I was a farmer no put in place. Send sa contaminant no any so excessive na affect human health. So ebini saying say ensure odo water or crops. Is it tested? Metals woman because recently I think some research people out say kuntum kura yidino.
Yeah,
Well,
I remember.
right. Research be kura ba as a kuntum kura yidino. Enukra no, it has some metals in there as a result of the soil na water yedi irrigate the crops no. So into places are able to mean your contaminants on a dose. But we have to find a way to control that contaminants. Into good agricultural practices, one of it is say ensure made water me plant. And now say soil now me could me plant in no. Is it even tested? Because most farmers do hard, to be frank. I can confidently say between 80% to 85% of farmers in Ghana no, they don't even test their soil annually. They have no idea the type of soil they are working with. Basic soil practices and I say analysis are also ammonia. Internet, the soil itself, no, it is contaminated with so many things. So as soon as I do water plant, no, it can be contaminated. Say I'm saying soon as I do water, then there is probability say all crops no can be contaminated. So manure, so manure kura na we use you know so manure is an organic product. But manure no kura no say when to me and compost to ya we have biological agents able to me affect the vegetables pathogens. So it can cause food poisoning. Sadu money now foodborne illnesses. Sadu money now into production aspect no now Mr. Comet chemicals once so na chemicals no okoto instructions wo ho say a pesticide a insecticide na say a fungicide na a nematicide or rodenticide, whichever one you are using to control whatever you are controlling no or more amount direction I also offer so a use to that in no nina egu bottle na ho. So also education ne more to the farmers. Also education ne as to how our use chemicals no to minimize the impact of the contaminant on human health. But that is where the problem is. So now we can't for our friend now more person preserve it, oil. So more or friend is it by and now omochi brode no muto I don't know the scientific thing behind it. So the rubber no to oil no ma and my oil no every. So I don't know If that is true, as a matter of fact, let me condition it. If that is true, then it is very, very wicked. It is the highest diabolical mind. It's a you don't think about human health. Now,
No.
funny pa you nipa bi we are bro because rubber ekoto yema and digest it. It can affect so many things. Your organs. Now you were talking about kidney disease, lung failures. So many things can happen to your body system when you digest those things or ingest those things. So, but nina ye sania a kwanya ye pese ye ho. So, a kwanya ye pese ye sika ebro so. Nti no sika ne edi enim ma yan dream nipa ne health ho. Nti ye ade a ye be ya ye bin sika no, that is what we do. But unim adekono last na me can say the consumers are also part of the problem. Because the consumer no say o ton adepa mana de ni nje ho. Because adepa no ne boye den. So what I'm gonna say. Say Oka Chen said this is an organic product and it's two cities higher than unorganic product are on top. So consumer need to ope the cheaper one. So then last time they can cook ashem. Saudi and cook funu si ho. Now the cook mweku ni fresh as ho eto ho. Obepe akoko funu asin ni awo raise in organa ho no. Obepe no. Nia ashe fridge me for so many years only so many weeks are owning baby if you buy no. The consumer will prefer that more than ya ono omekun wo farm ho no. Into the consumer is also part of the problem. So, but now can be said, I think Mr. Comedy can be said the consumers are also becoming a little bit wiser. There are a lot of some other people are there becoming a little bit wiser. So I quite say what ever told just say omode rubber etch by Ray. Who himself for that moment, it affected the market. People were not going to buy from that area. Why? Because of information. People need information to make informed decision. Well, it is if we are educating the producers, the processors, and the sellers, we also have to educate the consumers. So, marketer, don't just buy anything. This year, are you who catch the food in the market? No, are you who
Me say no say the what kind say this in your comment kind say the go be ye ken. You say oh koto a obesuro because beans you enke hu ye kube ade bi a wo na abontin anka obetima no bi. But say kube no kura no akoye ade aye de ja aye.
Aye who because you really don't know what you are buying. In the Adopina new big casa or Ghana, prefer nurse or farm or farm na o two banchi. They say aye ne da say o two banchi. I could di say hey banchi am me too ni say man fa hwe nguso so abo fine. Nam to say net. Then ya ja now say unim. Banchi a aya me koto okrom no. Esan say nipa no oba beton ti odindru ye den eguso. Na no dine de enya de obeye den. Odindru beguso. No say I understand. Na they no understand. Also no a business no den. Oh yeah. This a business na oh yeah there. And they medindru guso na me koton and there any problem. Consumers have to be very, very careful. of what they are buying in the market. Inye bibia okoya okase ne boya fofo no wakoto. No, you have to ask questions. So these are questions. Now, unim say, or friend, I don't know whether it's a Korea or Japan or somewhere like that. Unim say, oko some of their grocery stores are products ni bo hwa no farmer no duaye no. Farmer no duaye no. Ni picture bo ho. Ni picture bo say tomato ni picture bo tomato ni ho.
Yeah.
Na ne farm location e wo ho. So now no they are trying to minimize some of these foodborne pathogens and as contaminations na ekoso bebre no. Inti na wo say farmers na wo Ghana no na processes Ghana no I say processes are Ghana no they have to learn. In the last na make say some of our friend and processing machines no, some of them, most of them are not stainless steel.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, say, omo de manufacture and as omo de so you all these other metals it to me and mix it with the food product now. You know, need to go yemo. So
Absolutely.
adebechi na when you heart problem, when you kidney problem, when you this problem, na you blaming for food be but say you sure you who ya I feel say and so by then ebeboa pa. Now storage so storage nankasa no I don't want to talk much about that because farmers nankasa kra no most of them don't even store their product. So you know maybe later we will talk about how to deal with all those things. But more importantly, the producer, the farmer now no all farming no ne practices na pa. Say you to me reduce the chemical residues within the planter. That is the first thing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Cancers be brabe. So we don't even know where sometimes they come from. But nina, some of them are residues, chemical residues. Well, food product. Because wakoto apple, wakoto or friend then cabbage, wakoto lettuce, wakoto spinach. Nina leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
All these leafy vegetables, no. So ebu hokra na all in a raw. So now all in a raw, no. Do you even know what is in serious? So, until me advocate say, do something on your own. Kakrebia obetumi duano. Dua wofi. We have what we call container gardening. Untumi nka say mini asase. Say yeah, tomatoes mienu pe na obedua and I say pepper mienu pe na obedua. That can last you for a very long time. You we should practice cultivation on our own. Some of this, we don't have much of these problems around us. So, in the basic, na question bo hana say, go for which you are almost way to me abasabi. That's
Yo, senior ISO first boabin in Akasano or books or Amazon.com. Oko na ubu sustainable agriculture farm practice here. On wow. And you can say the same books to know how you can farm the same farm no without the need of bank the aid and governmental aid and so in senior dividend. And a strategy for business so they say the medical kind of business we have so be na we strategy be na commodity episode be on senior commerce kasa be every electronic year. Because nsɛm na ɛkɔ so ofie ni deɛ yɛntimi fada baako pɛ ɛnka ma no yɛyɛ. Wowɔ bi foforɔ bi a wate a maame ehu no wobɛtumi de abrɛ me na ba a yɛtumi de atoa so. Etire we ente ya enya ɛkyɛ ɛsoa. Mena wase. Nyame adom a next week Friday yɛbɛhyia ne atoa so. I hope for say next week Friday so na adekora na me de ba ne na mentimi anyi no an review no an launch no etimi e aba. But stay tuned on your Facebook, YouTube page, any social media. Stay tuned. You know, must. I'm sure you know. Bye.